Hello and welcome to the 4th episode of ZED Talks. Maybe this is the 5th episode, actually. I don't know. This week, we'll be talking about Ekko, Elise, Evelynn, Ezreal. Joining me this week is Colton Blue Essex Sweat.
Hey, I know how to count to 5.
And Nick the King Cooper.
Hey.
I don't know how to count to 4.
I just have like an intro thing that is hey, this is how I should format my intro. And it says 4th in my intro because I didn't update this. So it's actually the 5th episode. Pog. Anyways, this week we're going to be talking about Ekko, Elise, Evelynn, Ezreal. Do you guys want to just jump into it with Ekko?
Do you guys just want to jump into it with Ekko?
Nice, that's a good one.
You didn't say it 4 seconds later, though.
Oh, shit, my bad.
I'll edit it so
Zon!
you don't though, so that's fine.
Got him.
Alright, so Ekko, how do we fix this character?
I think he's a mess. I said this
He's
so
a
much.
mess, dude.
I am a broken record talking about this, but he needs to be balanced around his ult not doing fucking 0 damage. His Q, W, E need to be abilities that do regular damage. They do abilities that do enough damage to compensate for him not hitting his ultimate. They either need to make his ultimate easier to hit, or make his ultimate do very little damage.
Yeah.
I think.
And to me, I think it'd be cool if maybe they do the old swapperoo with his W and his ult, where his W is he throws down the zone and if he lands in there he deals damage. And then when he pops back in the ult, that'd be bad. That would be bad. But yeah, the fact that he's balanced in a way where if you miss ult, he still does nutty damage, and if you hit ult, it's actually insane.
Mm-hmm.
Just make the ult not do damage. In my eyes.
Yeah. Do you then move it over to his W or?
Either that or I'd be fine if they really want to make it that. Make it if you ult back into your W, it does a bunch of extra damage. I'd be fine with that.
I also feel like that's never gonna happen.
I think that would be a really cool way to do skill expression. If your ability, because his W and his Q, you could theoretically make both of them hit because you ulted, and if you made that ability then do tons of damage because you rewound for it, I'd be fine with that. I don't know if that's the way you go about it, but I don't know. I think a lot of his shit just doesn't make sense. Why does he have a fucking 3-hit passive? I don't... Why?
Yeah,
I think that on its own...
had a 3-hit passive. Every character had a 3-hit passive, I think, is the reason why he has one.
I guess. I don't know. I think it's kind of stupid. And he just gets crazy movement speed off of it. And he gets to, hit on the minion wave, which is another thing. Only champions, please. It's dumb that you can use minions for.
So then do we, So he needs the damage from his ulti somewhere, right?
I don't think he does. I think that's the whole point that I'm trying to make is the fact that I think he's a character that's fine without his ultimate damage ever. I think he does enough damage.
You think that it's totally fine to just remove that without any compensation?
I think you could remove it without compensation. I don't think his win rate would drop very much.
Yeah,
really?
if they made the damage on his ult 0 today, I think his win rate goes down maybe 1%. And I think
I really
Ekko
don't think it's
mains
that big
do
of a deal.
fine.
Yeah, I think if you want, you can compensate it by making it the heal bigger, by changing that. But I really don't think it needs damage. I just feel having damage on it makes it so fucking hard to balance the rest of his kit. I really do.
That's fair. So I mean, my idea was maybe characters that he has procced a passive on take additional damage for a short time.
Okay.
You'd need your combo would need to proc it, right? So then it wouldn't be a huge increase.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just hard. Because I would really like to not give his ultimate damage. I really would like. Or if it's going to be damage, it should be damage as you mentioned, it amplifies other damage, or it does something not related to his ultimate itself, right?
Mm-hmm. It's tough.
Yeah, I don't know. He's messy. I don't know. It's odd.
Yeah, but what do you think about the rest of his kit? If we can't settle on his ultimate, I think his Q is fine. I think his E's other than I think blinks are cancer, but I think it's a better blink than like easier to deal with blink than most. And then I think his W is like super fine. His W is super telegraphed.
Yeah. No, I think like he's a pretty fair character. Otherwise, to be honest,
I think there's certain metas like which they've nerfed him out of, where like you just use your W and always use it as a shield rather than like a stun, which I think was bad. But like now that we're out of that, I think he's absolutely fine.
Yeah, I agree.
I would love to see, I guess, in that regard, that like the shield is significantly weaker if you proc it without a champion in there.
Yeah.
Like if you hit an opponent with it, you get a big shield. If you don't, you get a little shield.
Does it scale with the number of champions you hit?
I would think so. Okay. I think that would be reasonable. Like I would think like maybe it's 60, 75% of what it currently is if there's nothing in there, and then scaling up to like 150% if you hit multiple people.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Something around those lines where again it's like it's fine if you want to give him this cool big shield, like make him hit the fucking ability.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
Yeah. Any ideas for his ultimate? Now that we're wrapping around to that again. Do you guys remember what they tried to make his ultimate? Do you guys know the lore behind that? What like they tried to do?
No.
They literally tried to make it rewind the game 4 seconds.
That would be so sick.
Do you think that would work in a game of League of Legends?
Absolutely not.
Definitely not.
But it would be so sick. I love that idea.
I love the idea because like it's so yes, you can revive like stop ally deaths and stuff like that. But I think the cooler thing is like changing. Like I know they went for this flash Q or whatever, right? I'm gonna rewind it. Did they go for the flash Q again?
Yeah. Yeah. So like, I was just gonna give him like a fucking zillion ability. I was gonna say maybe it resets his cooldowns. That's a different character.
I actually don't think that's that bad of idea, right? Like, what if
instead of doing damage, it like reduced his cooldowns?
Well, what if it reset all of his cooldowns? What if it did that? Yeah. What if it didn't do damage, right?
No
so,
damage.
Like, use your
0
combo,
damage.
You use your combo, then it resets all his cooldowns like back 4 seconds.
Yeah.
I think you'd have to then maybe even lower his damage numbers a little bit.
I don't think that's that crazy though. I feel like
his cooldowns are so small already though that the way it would work is like you would like you'd hit the Q, you'd like E auto, get your Z drive, and then you would just like ult and do it all again.
Yes, but it would take your character model back 4 seconds.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. If it still sends you back.
I don't think you'd be in range for like another combo, I guess. Unless they'd been
if
fighting on top of you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I could see it then, yeah.
I think that's a really cool idea.
I think so too.
I actually think that's like easy enough for them to implement too. Like I understand like the limitations of trying to take everyone in the game back 4 seconds.
Yeah.
But I think they could do it for like one character. I think that's like possible. I think that'd be really cool.
Could you imagine the level of like bullshit where a professional team gets a Baron steal and then Ekko takes them back 4 seconds and they don't?
And then they steal it again.
And they don't steal it again because like surely it wouldn't work that way?
Mm-hmm.
How hype would it be though if they steal it twice?
If they stole it twice, that'd be the hypest fucking shit in the world.
You're playing Ekko jungle just to get 2 chances at every Baron steal.
Oh man, I'm kind of like upset we got robbed of that.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that those are good potential ways to do it. What if it just paused the game for everyone for 4 seconds and you got to Ekko realm somebody? It's just mortal, but it pauses the game for that time.
What if you went untargetable and you hit every champion on the map?
Ooh, okay. And Procton hit effects, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, obviously.
And then if you have other cybernetics on your team, you get bonus AD and health.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
But only if you have an item equipped.
Yeah, well, yeah, obviously. That only makes sense because they're cybernetics.
Yeah.
So Elise.
I honestly think the only change... I think Elise is a very well-designed character. I think...
Can I guess what you're going to say? Repel needs to change?
Oh, no, actually. No.
I think Repel's like not good, but...
I don't think Repel's healthy.
The only thing that I want changed is I would love if she had the sort of Nidalee effect where if she landed a cocoon on a champion, it would reset the ultimate cooldown. But I think that would be too strong.
personally, I would love to see them get rid of spiderlings entirely. I think they're stupid.
Really?
As fuck. I think they're stupid. I think they're awful.
I don't think they add much to the game.
I think they don't add much to the game other than like, lol, my spiderlings tank the minions, which is why I can jungle, or lol, my spiderlings tank that turret hit or that skill shot. Like, they give her so much unnecessary power for being useless whenever you actually want to use them.
I mean, so should we remove Jack in the Box then?
That's different. That's a playmaking tool.
That's
like
you can actively use that. You can place your Jack in the Box in the way, whereas like sometimes spiderlings path in that way and like block shit.
I mean, I guess, but I don't know. I feel like it's fine. It's part of her character.
I personally, I think
that's fair.
they
I
should
guess
just get rid of those entirely. Like, I would love to see a rework basically of her entire spider form kit. Like, I'm fine with Q being a damage burst. I think repel would either have to be like, you can stay up a long time if you maybe cast it from out of combat, and it could be like an ambush tool where when you repel as Elise, you're like invisible and you're repelling down on something. Otherwise, you'd have to like immediately cast it on something. I don't know. Like, I don't know how I would fix it, but the fact that she can just chill untargetable for like 2 seconds, dumb. And you don't know where she's gonna go with it. Like, she could, go to the minions. Like, she can indicate the target halfway through.
I guess.
Yeah.
That's not cool for me. I don't know.
But that's literally the only thing one of her abilities does. Like.
Yes. I mean, it also gives you a bunch of damage amplification.
It's not it's only
attack speed and something.
It's only increasing the percentage lifesteal you get from your passive, like where you lifesteal on hit in spider form, and only after you use it.
Huh.
Like it's a pretty weak ability aside from the active. Does she have a?
She's so old, right? Like, that's the main thing. Like, what's her like most recent kit update?
I have no idea.
Has she had any kit updates actually? Are any of the abilities different than they were at the beginning?
Yes, the stun. I mean, functionally now, the stun is different from what it used to be. I think it used to be a higher duration, and it didn't scale at all, so you could put less points into it. And then there was a time where you had to max it second.
I meant like that. None of the abilities have actually changed, like what they do or anything, though.
Yeah, functionally, no.
Okay.
What if when she used her E, it created a web that you could like break and knock her down?
What if when you used her, I'm not sure what ability, it created a big web on the map that like would make you like invisible, so you could like, and you can keep them. They were like, you could keep them all over the map, and like you could like travel really fast through them, so you couldn't really see her.
It doesn't make that character invisible anymore, actually.
Oh, it doesn't? Oh.
No. But I unironically love that idea. I think it would be super sick.
Why don't they just copy Broodmother?
For real. I mean, to be fair,
Broodmother's really cool.
Broodmother would not fit in League.
No.
Like, that character is busted.
I'm going to read some of her stuff really quick. We pull it up.
For Broodmother?
Yeah.
Just read her ulti.
I don't... Oh, these are all spiderling abilities. Is her ultimate this one in Satiable Hunger? Is that it?
I think so.
A violent lust for vital fluids increases Broodmother's attack damage and gives her a vampiric attack. Is that it?
Mm-hmm.
Attack damage bonus 60, 100, 140. Lifesteal bonus 60%, 100%, 140%. Duration 14 seconds.
But you can also talent into it to give it 50% more to where you're lifestealing 190%. On a 45-second cooldown. That's
insane, yeah.
Yeah. That's just her ulti. That's not her other abilities. I don't know. I feel like I guess I'm a little biased because I enjoy Elise as a character. I think she's really well designed. Her kit like flows together nicely, especially the like max health and execute.
She's better. She's one of the better multi-form characters, I find.
Absolutely.
I feel like most of those are pretty jank.
Yeah, well, I feel like those are two, like, maybe less so with Nidalee since they've changed her, but Jace, for instance, he's like his abilities when he's in melee don't affect, for instance, his ranged abilities, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're just playing two different characters at that point, and whoever has the cooldowns up is what you're playing. But I think Elise like really works together, like well together with like how her abilities interact with one another, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. My only like big change is like that I mentioned is I think repel should be changed. I really don't think there should be very many, if any, turret like removals, like turret aggro removals. Like either it should like follow her in aggro, in turret or something. I just don't like intargetable stuff like that.
That's fair. Maybe the turret like it doesn't break projectiles, but it does drop aggro.
Yeah, if it didn't break projectiles, that'd be a little bit better. Or like one or the other, right? I think like I really like that Yuumi can be targeted under tower. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
despite
I do
her
too.
Being an untargetable character,
Mm-hmm.
I really wish like more stuff like either didn't break tower aggro or didn't like allow you just to like drop it at all.
Yeah, that's fair.
Mm-hmm. I also
I think it's one. Sorry, go ahead.
She gets a free hourglass is my biggest issue with the
Yeah.
the amount of time you can sit up in there is too long.
I suppose,
And, like-
but that's all that ability does, I guess.
Yes, but I think that you could make the character a lot better by giving her something else. Like, giving her real abilities in spider form besides Q is damage, W is only effective really for clearing camps. Like, I mean, yeah, you use it in trades, but give her a real W and a real E in spider form.
That's fair.
One more thing, I feel like there's a couple junglers that fall into this pattern, but it really does feel like the junglers that are clear buff, flash, CC gank mid, shouldn't be like a viable strategy. Meaning, she falls into this camp, you flash cocoon mid, and you either burn their flash or kill them, level 2. Jarvan falls into that category, and so does Rek'Sai. I feel like those are the three characters that you literally just burn your flash like level 2 to like win your teammate a lane. And it happens, I would say, 75% of the games they're played in.
Yeah,
and I don't think
way
it's
to
a
play
good
is just
mechanic.
Flash to either burn flash or get a gank every time.
Yeah. And like if you get that kill, you just fucking like win the game. Okay, you don't win the game, but like it's a crazy advantage. Like you just kill their mid like straight off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think
agree.
I don't know
Yeah.
how you fix stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
how do you
Yeah.
fix like do you make it so you can't use her ability after you flash? Like that's silly, right?
That'd be dumb, yeah. I don't know. Like, I guess another thing that I don't like about Elise, personally, I'm not a big fan of Elise. I've never been very good at the character, and that is definitely a lot of bias, but I think thematically, she doesn't make a lot of sense. Because, like, if you think of Elise, like, you're literally running around everywhere all the time, looking for every fight you can, 100-0. How does a spider work? They lie in wait and create an area where they have an advantage. Like, and then once
Brood
you fall
mother.
for the trap, they come in and, like, you're stuck and it's slow. Like, that's not Elise at all. And I don't know how they do that character, and I think Elise as is, like, that's a different character entirely, but it just, to me, the gameplay and the theme do not fit at all. Like, it's just like, spider, assassin, poison damage is actually a burst? What? Like,
It'd be cool if she did poison, like tick.
yeah, but like it's a burst. Like her Q is like called poison or whatever bullshit, but like it's just a percentage health burst. Like nothing about her says spider other than the actual look. I guess her cocoon, but again, like spiders don't launch out a cocoon; they fucking bait you in. Right, like where if I don't know, maybe if when she went up into her repel, it like built a web or something around you. Like I don't know, the gameplay and the theme don't fit at all. The more I think about it, the less I like Elise conceptually.
It's interesting because I feel like she fits your playstyle perfectly. Like she's super strong at skirmishes and just fighting all the time.
I feel like the one thing that doesn't fit Colin's thing is like when you fuck up those early skirmishes, you like lose the game off her. Like she
I
doesn't.
suppose.
she can either scale crazy because she just like takes over a game, which is 100% Colton's playstyle, right? Like Colton on a win on like a feast Elise, like not feast versus famine, is Colton's character. Colton on a famine Elise, yikes.
That's fair, yeah.
I don't know. I think that there's a lot of room to make Elise really cool, and I think that she's not very cool, and I think that one of the biggest indicators of like what Elise is in her current state is like her most popular point was like put a bunch of points into your E so that it stuns longer. She's a CC bot. Like that was the point of Elise.
I mean, the point of that was like it used to scale like, I don't know, half a second per, and it started at like 0.75 seconds to where you couldn't do the rest of your combo, if I'm not mistaken. Like she was weak as fuck at that point.
Yeah, I just I've said it, and I've made my point. We disagree about Elise, but
it looks like she used to be what Priscilla was.
Yeah. Yeah, we talked about Priscilla.
Yeah, we did. Someday. Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like, so like the stuff that you want to change about her is like, it's kind of all over the place, right? We like think that she's like, she works well currently with the way that she's built, but it's, I don't like it, and Colton doesn't like how it currently works, even though it fits together properly, right? It just,
that's fair.
It's not stuff we like.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think the idea of giving her like actual DOTs, making it so like she can't like do some gimmicky shit would be fine. I think her like melee range form like flows together great. So either you change nothing about her, or you change like some gimmicky shit away from her, or you like full fucking just like completely rework how she works. But I don't think she needs. I think there's lots of characters that need that way more, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that the kit itself isn't like terrible. But I also think you could throw that kit onto any character, and it would feel like, and the flavor's not there for me at all.
That's fair.
Cool. But yeah, Elise, what do you guys think about Evelynn? Perfect character, probably, right? No problems?
I think she's more... so it's weird. It's either, like, once again, she has some gimmick shit, right? Like, this is the problem with, like, a lot of junglers in the game. Good junglers have gimmicks, right? Mm-hmm. Evelynn's gimmick is the fact that late game, she's going to one-hit any of your bad players.
Yeah.
Right? And, like, that's her win
with her
condition.
E. With her E only.
That's what I hate. I hate when she gets to the point where she one-hit your AD carry, and she didn't burn ult.
Mm-hmm.
I think to start, that's the first problem with Evelynn, is the way that scales. I don't know the exact scaling on it off the top of my head, but like you don't need to be that fed on Evelynn to be able to 100 to 0 somebody with no W, just E, and either auto or Q them for the electrocute proc. Like,
yeah,
you shouldn't 100 to 0 people with that. Like, if your ult's the execute, or it's an execute, I think that might as well go the way that they have been with a lot of characters of just like, if it's under X threshold, it just kills them, as opposed to like, if they're under X threshold, it does like bonus damage, because it's not, it deals like double damage if they're below 50 or something, but like if they were at 51, it wouldn't do any extra damage. Like, make it a regular execute, or make it just kill them under a threshold. Right?
Yeah, I suppose.
Like, I don't know. It works different to, like, any other executability in the game. Right? Where there's, like, the two paradigms, whereas, like, it does a percentage bonus damage per percentage missing health. So that's, like, the second part of Lee Sin Q, for example. Or you've got the Pike, Cho'Gath ults, where it's just like, if they're under this number, it kills them.
Yeah, I'm reading your alt execute right now. It's they take magic damage with enemies below 30% of their maximum health, receiving 140% bonus damage. So it already does like a lot. It's a 375 damage ability at max rank with a 0.75 ratio. So it does a fuck ton, and then it does 40% bonus damage, right?
If they're under a third. So it's like, again, my point is like, okay, either just change it so where like if they're under a quarter, it just kills them.
Yeah.
Or just make it a regular execute where if they're at 34%, it doesn't fuck you.
Yeah, your point is that like it's way too fucking good against squishies, and it's probably not doesn't really do anything versus tanks is like the main problem.
Yeah, and again, just like the idea that like it's every other execute in the game works differently. It is entirely unique in that it just does a flat amount of extra damage if they're under a percentage. Where like if they're already under that, you're probably killing them regardless of the bonus damage. Like if you're playing Eve and they're under 30% and the base damage of your ulti wouldn't have killed them anyway, what are you doing? And then just the fact that if they were at 34%, you don't get the bonus damage at all against like a tank, like that's just dumb to me.
I mean, I also like fundamentally have an issue with like one hitting someone from stealth.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Like, so the only thing, like the only indicator on her kit is when she uses charm. When it fully like forms, it shows you the direction she's in. I feel like most people don't know that. Like I'm not sure if you guys knew that.
Yeah.
Like Trevor played fucking like 100 games of Evelynn. He didn't know that. But also doesn't show if you're playing her though, so maybe that's why. But it shows the enemy team. It only shows enemy team. It doesn't show any allies or her. Like
I thought it showed her, but no allies.
Maybe you're right.
It does in animation. I don't think it's very clear.
I know it doesn't show allies.
When it caps, it does a little arrow to which direction Eve is from you.
And that's her only like counterplay, which I don't think is enough. I feel like it should almost like start forming that arrow as it's like charging or something. Like that would be like cool.
I also like the fact that she doesn't need the W late game.
Yeah.
And, like, there's something to be said about, like, okay, it's a Fed assassin, like, she shouldn't need her full combo, but, like, if you're up, like, 3-1 on Eve and you're farmed okay, like, you can just walk up, EQ somebody, like, they don't get an indicator because you didn't W because you didn't have to. You don't have to ult because you do enough damage anyway. Like, that's... I think they should rebalance the numbers around to... make her, I guess, probably like a little bit more consistent and a little bit less obscene when she pops off, and put more of that power in the ultimate. I think the Q is kind of a dog ability just in general.
It's way worse than it. Like, so the old Q used to be boring as fuck, right? Like the one that was just like the 3
Smash
spikes.
Q constantly, yeah.
Yeah, like this one's at least cooler. It just, yeah, I agree. It's not her like. I mean, it's her bread and butter early, right? But then, like, game it's like an ability that you almost don't use.
I think the W and the ult are good abilities, and I think the way that the passive works right now is fine because she's the stealth character. I don't know about the getting obscene health regen while stealth. I think that's kind of stupid. Personally, like I think the only reason that's there is that so she can be a viable jungler. And you can fix that with having her abilities just heal off jungle camps. But aside from that point, I'd be fine, I think, if... I like the idea of, like, right, you throw the W on them, and the typical combo is you throw out the Q because it's a skill shot that has your largest range, and you can proc the charm with it. And I think that would be interesting if they just made the first part of her Q into her E, and it did, like... some damage, but not as ridiculous as it does now, and then just give her like a real Q. I'm not sure what it would be. It'd have to be AoE something, but the just like spam spikes at the last thing you hit, that's not it for me. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but
it feels like I feel like I'm not sure if these characters are just harder or our creative juices aren't flowing, but like, man, it's hard.
Yeah, it is. I think this is like one of the very first episodes where it's not clear that there's something functionally busted with them.
Well, so I think the main problem with these characters is that we all think they have like crazy strengths or stuff that's like could be changed about them that we don't like, but there's no clear identity that we could like change something there. You know what I mean? Like Ekko, he's the time reverse character, and I'm saying that I don't like the fact that his time reverse move does damage. Like that,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's like, oh fuck, Elise, the character that fucking goes into a spider web in the sky or like repels and like stuff like that. I don't like that part of her. It's like, are we just gonna remove her repel? No. Like Evelynn, we hate the fact that she can one hit people from stealth. She's the stealth character. Like, I don't know. I feel like it's just fundamental with their design that we're having problems with, right?
Yeah, I mean, she's the stealthy assassin. I'm not sure, like, if there's a fix for that, right? Or if if there even has to be a fix.
Mm-hmm. I think Colton's on the right track with like just like starting small, right? Like her W is a fine ability. It maybe needs tweaking. Her ultimate's a fine ability. Maybe needs tweaking. Her Q is boring, and her E is problematic, I think.
Yeah, her E probably shouldn't apply on hit effects, right? Just like off the bat.
That would start, yeah. I think that's just
There'd be
like,
some of it, yeah, to make Lich Bane less stupid, obscene on her.
Yeah.
I guess, I don't know, maybe there could be a thing where, like, I'm trying to think of, like, some interesting ways you could do it, where maybe she could do, like, she turns off her, like, stealth, but because of that, she's, like, way faster. Right, but, like, you'd have to have it, like, limited in some way to, like, you can't do it when you're already on top of somebody.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that could be, like, interesting. I don't know. I think the issue is, like, there's so many ways you could go, and I'm just not a big fan of what it is right now.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
But I think, again, the W and the alt are probably fine. I think that the Q and the E is really where you could see some interesting changes.
Cool. You guys want to talk about Ezreal for a bit?
Hang on. What if we gave Evelynn the like Dead by Daylight treatment, where if you're close to her, like music started playing, but it made her like if she wasn't stealth, music started playing, right? So that way you have some warning when she's fast. And then you had generators.
Yeah, you had generators. They had to like light up to escape.
But like, I'm joking about the generators, but not the rest of it.
No.
Okay.
I don't know, because like with Pike it works because it's not an always thing, but with her it's like literally just be music always.
What? No.
Only when she's not stealth?
Yeah, only when she's not stealth, because you said she'd be really fast, right?
Oh, okay, so she's currently killing you is when you hear the music.
I mean, yeah. But it'd be it'd be in function with her toggle, like.
Okay, I guess if it was kind of like Warwick's like Blood Scent, where like she's coming at you.
Yeah.
Okay, I could see that.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't.
Even if her W had that, where like when she casts the W, she becomes revealed, but like she also gets bonus stats.
What if she was revealed, but only to the person?
I'd be okay with that, but I feel like stuff like that is just like they just ping you, you know?
Probably, but in solo queue, like it only matters in competitive, I think.
Yeah, I don't like things that are balanced around communication.
That's
I guess. Fair. Like I'd rather just have it one way or another, because then
why you love Nocturne.
Yeah.
I did learn, like, you know how I always had that question, like, are you allowed to look at your teammates' monitors in competitive play if Nocturne ults? You're allowed to.
Oh,
I learned that. Isn't that cool?
That's sick. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why he's like a less good character on like live.
I feel like you have to, because you can't like, I don't know, you can't ban someone from looking out of their peripheral vision, right?
It's just an interesting question, right? Because the whole dynamic of the character is that it fucks with you because you don't know where he is, right? But then you can just look and be like, oh, he's right there.
Yeah. Ezreal.
Okay.
Right off the bat, I want to change his passive to to where it's not exclusively attack speed. But I really liked the Xerath idea that we received this week on Leaguecast. Maybe if it was a stacking, I don't know, damage amplification for himself and attack speed, but at a reduced rate for the attack speed and I don't know, maybe like a 10%, 5 stacks of 2%.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I'd be fine with it, and like honestly, I'd be totally fine if they made it drop a stack if you like hit a minion with an ability.
Yeah, make him a fucking like Yeah,
Like,
make him rely
he's-
on like the combo.
He's the skill shot guy that just
Yeah.
pokes you down with a bunch of shit. So like if he hits his combo on minions, he shouldn't get rewarded for that with 55% attack speed.
Yeah,
think
maybe you get 2 stacks if you hit a champion, lose a stack if you hit a minion.
Or even if it just like reset the cooldown on it, I'd be fine. But it shouldn't give you stacks.
Mm-hmm.
Is
That
at the
is my
very
favorite.
least.
That is my least favorite thing about Ezreal lane is where he ults from a bush, right, and then all-ins you because he
He has
hits
50%
you.
attack speed.
Yeah, and he hits 4 minions, so he just gets 50% attack speed.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's ridiculous. I think it would be way better if instead of attack speed, just make it like he's the ability AD carrier or one of them. Like don't balance him around attack speed, balance him around the combo where it's like, okay, yeah, every time you hit them with one of your skill shot abilities, like those start ramping up. So if you're in a team fight and you're hitting every Q, your Qs just get better and better. And I think that balances out his effectiveness and like one of the issues of him being just like the annoying poke character is that like if he's not constantly hitting these abilities, they stop doing as much damage. Right? Like if it's just like 1 Q every like 15 seconds, it's not going to be nearly as effective as hitting like 2 or 3 Qs in a row. Aside from that, I mean, I like most of his stuff. I think, again, I mentioned this earlier, I don't think that his E should, like, allow you to go through CCs. That's kind of dumb to me. And then his ultimate, I don't know, I'm pretty fine with, like, everything else. His ultimate's a little weird for me, but I don't think it's necessarily, like, needs a change.
I think his. Sorry, I was talking with my mic muted or my push up,
Nice.
but that my push talk. I think his Q stays no matter what. I think his ultimate stays no matter what. I think so Colton, you and I are on the same page here. I don't think that his E shouldn't be able to get out of CCs, but I think he should be CC'd for like what feels like longer. I know he like gets just like for example, Blitzcrank only stuns, like his hook only stuns for like a tiny little fraction of like the hook, right? But it feels like he should be CC'd to where he'd like arcane shifted to for like the duration that it would have been like for him getting pulled all the way. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like it feels like you should be you should be able to like shift yourself out of the way. But the fact is you got hit by it, right? So like you should still be stunned, I think, or punished for like actually getting hit.
Yeah, or again, like if you want to rebalance the ability around that, where it's like you can E out of CC, like that's I'm fine with that if you want to make that part of the ability, but like you have to balance around the fact that like you can E out of a Morgana Q or a Blitzcrank hook, like that's dumb.
I would be cool if they made it so like there wasn't a delay, but you couldn't blink out of shit.
Like you cast it instantly, but you
was
want
Yeah,
to
you
flash
can.
immune.
Yeah.
It would be Flash.
Or well, yes, yeah, I guess it is. I guess it's flat, but I feel like it's still. I don't think it's overpowered. Or you like make it like still have the delay, but it's like a shorter cooldown than it actually is. Like instead of starting at 25 seconds, you start at like 15 or something like that. But you can't like CC it. You can't jump out of shit.
I guess personally, I feel like this isn't that big of an issue. I suppose
It's just like inconsistent. I think is the more like biggest thing.
Yeah. I don't think it's a big issue on the character in general. I think it's one of my issues with League overall that like buffering animations in that way are very inconsistent. Just like there's a lot of abilities that when you like run into each other with them, there is a priority, but there's no way to know it until you've tested it. Right, like if I'm playing Sejuani, Nick, and you're playing Gragas, and I Q at you and you E at me, which one of us gets stunned?
I mean, Gragas it has more priority, right?
Why?
I mean, that's just the way it works.
Yes,
Yeah.
but that's the point that I'm making is that's stupid as fuck.
But the thing is, like, do you think it's possible? Do you think it's even possible for League to display all of that before someone enters a game?
I think his point
experiences
is that
that.
like it should be a consistent thing that like both characters get stunned if this happens.
Or if I am queuing up like a dash animation, all of them or none of them should be able to bust me out of CC.
Or the one that got cast second should always like takes priority.
Yeah, like again,
something
there should
like
be
that.
the rules for the way it works. Because like, right, you can say, oh, well, Ezreal E works because it's a blink. Right? You can make that argument. Why does Tristana W let you go through a Blitzcrank hook?
So I mean, So it's because it has a
yeah.
a channel time and instead of or is it a cast time?
It's a cast time before the actual thing goes off.
Yeah. So in a cast time, for cast time, characters are uninterruptible, and as far as I know, can't be CC'd, or the ability still goes off from the original location.
Yeah.
Yes, the ability still goes off from the original location, and like again, the fact that then there's like that cast time versus a channel time, like the fact that this is confusing to people who have been playing the game for 10 years and have all been diamond the last 5 of them, like these are fundamental issues with inconsistencies in the game that I just like. Ezreal is an example of one of the many times where just like. And again, realistically, I think it's a League of Legends 2 problem where, like, they're not going to fix it and they really can't. But it's just frustrating to me that, like, those things exist.
That's fair.
This is a little bit off topic, but what do you think is the next, like, time they're going to change something fundamental about the game?
I don't think probably preseason, right?
Like, because the last, like, actual fundamental change about how shit works, I think is, like, unless I'm like mistaking it, is literally flash popping projectiles.
Removing dodge as a stat.
That's
what happened after that, right?
Yeah, you're right. It did happen. Like it happened like half a season after. You're right.
Yeah.
That's like those are like the biggest things. That was 10 years. I don't think we're ever going to see changes like this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Probably not. The only other things I can think of are like I think they changed the crit formula a little bit, and they changed the lethality formula, but that wasn't really like. That was a fundamental adjustment more than like a change. But yeah, I mean it's so hard to make any changes like that. I guess the other thing that you could maybe point at is like on a specific character level how they're adjusting when you're casting outside of max range, whether it throws it in the direction or if it moves you and then it casts. But that's champion by champion basis, so it really doesn't count.
Mm-hmm.
But that's another thing that I think like fundamentally it should just work the same for all characters, where it's like pick one and then like just balance the game around it. Or I mean, like obviously you could try and make it toggle, but I don't know. Like I think that again, if it was just designed that way, it's like if you cast it outside of range, like it either goes in the direction or it casts it. Like you walk up and then cast it, and it's like, okay, well, learn to play the game in that fashion, right? Know what the range of your ability is.
Yeah, I mean,
cool.
Yeah. So Ezreal.
Yeah, I honestly think like we're on the same point, though, on the same page, though, right? Like his Q is alt, his E. I think his W is the only one that's not like iconic, but I feel like that's just because it was like changed more recently.
And it's a really good thing for him to be like that combo spell guy.
Yeah, I think it works really well together. I think it's like a great change for him.
I could also see if they maybe made like his W give him different effects based on what ability procced it. I think that could be interesting.
True.
Where like his Q it's just bonus damage, maybe his ultimate it's like a slow, or his E is like they get damage vulnerability or something, where it's like how you play around that W matters, so it's not always just WQ.
Mm-hmm.
You could make the decision of like, okay, I'm gonna W alt here. I'm gonna W E.
Yeah.
Or like even I'm gonna like W auto. Like, I could see that being like, if you W auto, it gives you attack speed. Like if you W Q, maybe it slows them very briefly, or like, I don't know exactly how you want to do it, but like you could lean into then creating new combos based on which ability you use to proc the W.
Yeah, more interaction between his abilities would be really cool.
You would artificially create like 2 or 3 new Ezreal combos without really doing much to his kit.
Yeah.
I don't know if he needs complexity like that, though.
But I think the argument for it is that I don't think it'll be like a max min thing, really. Like, I don't think it's going to be like a Twisted Fate choose versus like I don't know of a better comparison, but like a LeBlanc or a Karma.
I think it'd be really close to like a Rise, where it's just like the order in which you throw your combo affects how it works. And again, I don't think it's necessary, but I do think that it's interesting, and like if you wanted to add some depth, that'd be an easy way to do it.
Yeah, I agree. I guess I just meant like I don't think it changes his the combo potential based on like, oh, okay, if Twisted Fate doesn't get a yellow card, they just lose. Like that fight's probably not going to get won, right?
Makes his Q AoE. Perfect. If you WQ, it just makes it hit everything in an area.
A little like Runeglaive effect.
Perfect.
Taking it back.
Yeah, that's what we want. That's what we want.
Yeah.
So,
Nice.
Ezreal.
Yeah, that was fun.
Ease.
Thank you guys for joining me this week. Next week we will be covering
Next month.
Next month we will be covering the F characters, meaning Fiddlesticks, Fiora, and Fizz. We got some good stuff to talk about.
You
Fiddlesticks.
forgot one.
Was there another one?
Yeah, fuck Yumi.
Got him.
Good one. Bye.
Bye.